Hi, I'm Anthea Terry and I'm the Head of Policy Engagement at the University of Bristol, and this includes Policy Bristol, a dedicated policy engagement team set up in 2013. I joined Policy Bristol and the university sector in 2017, and before that my career included 8 years as a policy lead at the Environment Agency, time as a policy research consultant and 5 years as a secondary science teacher. I've developed policy, produced and commissioned evidence, and collaborated across UK and European governments on large programmes including Living with Environmental Change and the Children's Environment and Health Action Plan. So, UPEN. As chair, I would have 3 priorities: purpose, people, and place. On purpose, it's a really exciting time for UPEN, with various options for future funding and the status of the network having been developed by the current chair, vice chair, members, and set out in the Celia report. Those options have implications both for what we do and how we do it, and I'd like to take forward discussions with members to gain clarity and consensus on what it is that we aspire for UPEN to be, and pragmatically, what's possible. So I would deliver an overview of options with pros and cons for a membership decision. Moving on to people. UPEN published a really excellent report on equality, diversity and inclusion in policy engagement towards the end of last year. And a key priority for me would be to implement the recommendations of that report. There's a real opportunity for us to learn and explore this area together through collaborative workshops or action research, perhaps to produce good practice guidance or even a toolkit for members. I know from my own conversations at Bristol that this can be a really challenging area to begin to work in, and hopefully by doing it together, we can make it somewhat less so. Also on people, I'd like a stronger focus on professional development. There's growing recognition of policy engagement as a specialist area within knowledge exchange, and I'd like to focus on this both at our annual conference and in our regular meetings. I'd also like to explore whether there's a role for UPEN in facilitating people exchange across multiple sectors, and indeed multi-sector engagement more generally, perhaps with public engagement. Finally then, place. I think there's a huge opportunity for UPEN to have a stronger focus on local and regional policy engagement, perhaps with stronger ties with the local government association, and this could even be a specific focus for professional development, training, sharing learning between our members. Bristol is a civic university, and we find that our researchers are very motivated to engage at this scale, perhaps finding it less intimidating or with more direct, faster routes to impact. As a network, UPEN represents the rich diversity of the UK, and we can bring this nuanced understanding to policymakers with evidence or case studies that represent the physical, social, economic factors that should really inform how policy is developed and implemented. I'd also like stronger collaborations with the devolved administrations, using UPEN as a forum to explore how policy engagement is happening across the UK and what we can learn from each other. We've worked with Welsh Assembly in the past to explore what research findings might mean for policy, and it'd be great to do more of this in the future. In terms of how UPEN runs, I propose keeping the existing structure and governance the same, perhaps with a review early in 2023, or when we have more clarity over the future status and funding of the network. There's strong institutional support at Bristol to be the next hosts of UPEN, including my time as chair and a network manager role. And this role would sit alongside the existing Policy Bristol team and be able to draw on their wider knowledge and experience, as well as that of other professional services colleagues. There's also senior level support, which would help to boost the profile of UPEN. I've had a diverse career background. I'm not an expert in any one thing, and I'm not an academic. And I strongly believe that perhaps the most valuable thing I could bring as chair is to collaborate and facilitate. And I'm very keen to establish a multi-sector advisory group to really bring in a very wide range of perspectives to the network. So from Bristol as chair, you can expect 3 things: purpose, a commitment to EDI and the professional development of members, and a stronger focus on place and policy engagement beyond Westminster. I'm really excited to hear your ideas and questions, and thank you very much for listening.